Yo, it is Monday, and Alexis and I have done Helen. You know, that workout, they released the fact that there's going to be variations of the workout Helen done at the CrossFit Games this year. So I'm on the left, Alexis is on the right. It's been 7 years since I've done this workout. Weirdly enough, I've heard a handful of athletes, probably on the Sevon podcast, say that they've never done the workout Helen. And it's something where if you kind of go through YouTube and you filter through the 10, 12, 15 years ago, there are a handful of people who are putting up their best Helen times. I went through those. They're driving me nuts because there are people out there like Travis Mayer who have a crazy fast Helen time. It's 6:34. He looks like a completely different human being. But you got no way of knowing if the run is correct. I think you see James Fitzgerald, who's doing this weird like hip thrusty crap movement that also doesn't count. There's someone named Chris Bowl who is trying to do it on a track, and the kettlebell isn't getting fully locked out overhead. And what I think would be the standard this year, if you were to do a kettlebell swings, which I do think that they can do, it's arms over the entire body with the hips extended, the knees locked out, and the bottom of the kettlebell facing the ceiling. So while I complete mine on the left and Alexis on the right, that's the standard that we are going after here. On the bottom, heart rate. What is that? Everyone's been asking me about this thing, the Whoop. Why are you wearing that? I thought you hate that. I'm still not all that fond of it. I'm just putting it back on because I go through ebbs and flows of the thing. It doesn't mean that I endorse the thing by any means. I do like the fact that at the end of the day, it'll say, how hard did you work all day? Here's your strain score for the day. And I sit a lot, so I want to see how that might be cooking. But here we go, kettlebell swings. Butt of the kettlebell faces the ceiling at the top of the rep. There's a little bit of a snap at the elbow at the top of every single repetition. It's kind of hard to move a 53-pound kettlebell fast. It's not heavy. Other thing you might notice are there are no grips. There's 21 kettlebell swings here after that 400-meter run, and then there's also 12 pull-ups. They're kipping. When you do these consecutive reps, 33 of them, for these 3 rounds, it's 99 total reps where you're using your hands to hang on. When I was done with this workout, I haven't had that occluding bicep total destroying pain. Alexis's first run took her 210. I did include the runs and the time, so I think it's going to be interesting to see round after round how those things will end up filtering through. I think it's very important to try to shoot for, on a workout like this, at minimum, similar run paces and similar splits round after round, if not negative splits. It's always really something that you see everywhere where your first round is your fastest. Maybe it was your first round. My first round is 2:31. I want every round to be about 2:31. That'd be perfect. You're on pace for a 7.5-minute Helen, Andrew. The elite athletes are going to do it under 7. You freaking suck.
It doesn't matter what you think.
It's like, well, good, they should. That's why I think they should also be doing 5 rounds. And if they were to do 5 rounds, I think that going at 2.5 minutes per round of Helen would be perfect. Alexis's kettlebell swings, how did they look? I think I saw a couple where it seems as if they're a little bit out in front of the body. Alexis, by the grace of God, is exercising with a slap tear in her shoulder and hip dysplasia. So if anyone in the comment section has anything bad to say about Alexis not being on the screen anymore either, come get me. Come at me, bro. Yeah, she likes to use the pull-up bar. That's her pull-up bar, the one over here. So when I go to set up to record, because she doesn't know that I'm going to do this with these videos, she also didn't think that I would figure she'd use the same pull-up bar that I would to try to decrease the transition times. And that's something that's also very important at a workout like this. I got the treadmill inside the pull-up rig. I don't know. I just kind of like it. And there's the Alexis's first round of 336. And then you do the kettlebell swings, you back off and you go into the pull-up bar, which will kind of move you on over to the treadmill or the running position. And I actually heard this, where did I hear it? It was somebody getting interviewed by Sevon, and they were talking about working with Fraser and how Matt Fraser told them that they should just, maybe it was Amanda Barnhart or Christine Coldenbrander on the podcast the other day.
I think one of the things they said to me was like, when you walk over to the ring muscle ups, like, I don't care how slow you walk, but as soon as you get there, you need to jump up. Like little things like that, you know?
Talking how about you do a movement and your goal should just be to do the next movement right away. There's always different reasons for everything, but as long as you're going into it with a reason. But on this, maybe you can run a little bit slower as long as you pick up the kettlebell right away. Because what's the point of running faster? You're going at a 5-minute mile pace only to go, okay, 21 unbroken kettlebell swings. And what's the point of doing the kettlebell swings unbroken if you're going to look at the pull-up bar for a couple of seconds? It'd probably be better to break up the kettlebell swings for, 5-6 seconds so that you can do your pull-ups unbroken at which rate. So the goal, in my opinion, is to find this continuous flow state where I can do these unbroken, I can do these unbroken, and then you run so that you maintain that. And then the entire thing becomes this giant cyclical deal. There's the end of the kettlebell swing, and then you go jump up into the pull-ups. You try to get no transition time on most workouts is more beneficial, and it's the Chris Hinshaw, turn every workout into some aerobic piece. And you do that by just moving your body the whole time. And it's not very aerobic when you're doing this. I'm up to 170 and then I'm down. Speaking of which, I'm at 160. But when I start running, I think it goes down. Round 2 time, lost 6 seconds. And going into that, I have no idea what my splits are because I don't think I looked at the clock one time. I am not in the best running shape. I've never been the greatest runner. But on each and every one of these assault runs, I was trying to keep it in the neighborhood of 1300 watt. And I believe I started a little bit hotter than that. And I finished a little bit hotter than that, maybe pushing the mid 1400s on the wattage on the assault runner. Alexis is not and has not ever been a good runner. I think she's got a story of working out with a couple of her buddies and a couple of buddies of mine. Their names are Maggie and Em. And they did this team of 3 competition. She had to run a couple of miles and yes, she's taking her shirt off. Perfect. She did run faster on that one. But in that competition, Maggie and Em pushed her to the point where she thought that she was going to have a heart attack. It was a story that was funny to hear because I know how she is with running. And go run a mile, Alexis, and if she does anything in the low 7s, it's the best mile ever for her. And it's good. Like, there's nothing to scoff at with a low 7 mile. But I think Maggie and Em made her do that for 3 miles. They did a 3-mile run and finished 7 minutes every single time. And Alexis has this mental fortitude to be able to do that, but not in training. She doesn't like to do that sort of stuff with me in the garage. So she'll just be like, I'm gonna do these in 8 minutes. And then I'm like, all right, okay. And then Maggie and Em, in that competition, she sold her soul. And there's this picture where she's just dying on top of them. It's funny. All right, Alexis, your kettlebell swings, you're a little bit soft. That one was better. Soft to the top, a little out in front. Alexis is usually the one yelling at me about my repetitions. Run 1, 2, and 3. Pretty freaking good. It's like a 6-10 mile pace. And the assault runner, I do think is a little bit more challenging than it is to be running this outside. But for the sake of the video, all right, it's at 170, I believe that. And then it goes down, and I don't know if it's going down because of the nature of the moving the arm around with the kettlebell swing, elbow snapping at the top of the repetition. Trying to move this one a little bit quicker and trying to also make sure that no one's gonna yell at me for the way these kettlebell swings look on the internet. But this is the biggest difference between this right here, in which I finished this time, which it ends up being 7 minutes and 39 seconds, compared to Chris Bull or Travis Mayer or any of the OPTs that I saw as I was kind of perusing through the YouTube world. Is kettlebell swings are usually like this at the top, OPT, so there's all my splits. The 3rd round is almost as fast as my 1st round. In my opinion, that's probably one of the best ways to do it. If I were to do anything, it'd be get better at running. I sit in this thing all day. I actually just turned this thing into a standing desk. So if I press this button, the entire table starts to go up. So because I'm sitting so much and my hips get so freaking tight, I am gonna play the rest of Alexis here. And unfortunately, you don't get to see, look at this, this isn't, yeah, here we go, we're going up, we're still making the video. I just chilled right there. I don't know why. I kind of think, what is it that I would tell an athlete to do in this position? And you just kind of like think about where you feel, what hurts, and yes, my biceps were on fire. I got off the topic of the grips. And it's been a very hot topic, the grips. Listening to Tim Paulson talk the other day on the Morning Chalk Up, I wonder if it's, he's an athlete, there are athletes in this space, but he was very much underplaying the amount that it helps the athletes, the grips. If you gotta go do 100 chest to bar pull-ups, everybody's worried about the skin on your hands. But if you're doing a workout with, say, toes to bar or chest to bar pull-ups or rope climbs and kettlebell swings, which is very grip-intensive movement, the back and forth of that, the bicep fatigue, the forearm fatigue, it completely changes the workout. Those 12 pull-ups didn't feel like any 12 pull-ups that I had ever done. It's basically because I was doing them after the ballistic nature of the quick kettlebell swings that I was doing. And I'm wearing my sweat shorts. Vindicate sent me these. They're very comfortable. I don't know, I like them. I'm a big fan of sweat shorts, always have been. Alexis picks it up on her final round. She was doing the first couple in the 850 to 900 watt range, never really going over 900 watts. I was just kind of keeping an eye on that. I like to watch people's rowing paces. And then that last one, she finishes faster than her first 2 runs by a couple seconds, 6 seconds and 10 seconds. And it's because she was running just shy of 1,000. Alexis knows from I've been her coach as long as she's been doing CrossFit, that I think negative splits do things where you can just pick up the pace every single round, especially in training. There is always the avenue where you want to then say, okay, we're not going to be doing the negative splits. You're going to take off the training wheels, and I want you to first start the workout off with a head full of steam and see what happens. Sometimes good things happen, but I would say 9 times out of 10, you do run out of steam. And let's just say her first round was 3:30 or something like that, I believe. It'll pop up here in a second. But if her first round was 3:30, maybe she does that first round in 2:45. And then maybe she's got that mental kick that she had with Maggie and Em at that competition where she had to run 3 miles and she did a pace there that she didn't think she could do / would never try in training. But usually you're not able to just pull 7-minute miles out of your butt. There is always that time though, and this is why games athletes are games athletes. See, it was 3:36. So maybe she finishes in 2:45 on the first round, but then maybe she starts walking on the next run. Maybe she does like a 3-minute run, and then the entire thing goes into the crapper. This is also something that I wrote for my program this week on Monday. It's something that I do think is kind of unique about my online program, is that I do try to keep up with the times. Like I see that a CrossFit Games workout has been announced, potentially doing Helen. Everybody can now go do Helen, very much as if you were in an affiliate, if you will, because when I was at the affiliate, it would do the same thing. 333 on Saturday, guys. This is what we're doing. If you want, you can split it with a buddy. That was back when it was released in 2014, but that sort of deal. So yeah, we did Helen. I hadn't done it since 2016, which crazily enough was the last time that I was a bitter regional level athlete, the individual nature of that. And I finished the same time as 7:39 for myself today. Alexis, every single time she comes to work out, she's just happy to do so. That's it. I recommend you go do Helen too. It'll give you kind of a insight into whatever it is that they're doing at the games. And Hiller, out.
Please smash that like button.
Do it!
No one touches
Just
it.
do it! Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! Some people dream of success, while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible! No, what are you waiting for? Do it!